how dare people say these things? I think you're exactly right. I think it is people beginning to actually be more public about the fact that it does generally point into the direction that Meghan had a surrogate with Harry. Yeah.
Because what's so interesting is the sort of call to action, Tash, at the end of the article from Liz Jones, and we will go through it as I say, but it's to pressure Meghan and Harry to release a statement, to confirm. That's all I've been asking for a very long time. If you're not hiding anything, let's see the proof.
Come clean. It is a case of saying that, isn't it? It's saying, come clean. If you've got nothing to hide, then, then what's the big deal? But the problem is they've built up so many. This is Harry and Meghan themselves, not the media, not the public, not people like, myself or yourself on social media. Harry and Meghan have stirred up so much stuff from the moment that the pregnancy was originally announced. Of course, there is lots of speculation, which I've always found so bizarre from Harry, because lots of rumours, cruel rumours went about his childhood, that King Charles is not his father. And, those rumours are still going strong now. And I can imagine that probably upset him. But because of all of the games that they played with the media over the secrecy of Archie's birth, the doctors not signing the certificate, not using the Queen's doctors, it has, of course, created, I would say, even a more dramatic storyline, because the more it became obvious that they weren't telling the truth and these stories were coming out, the more Harry and Meghan were saying, oh, we're being targeted, we're being trolled. But you started the controversy by playing all of the games.
Oh, they did. They did indeed. And the fact that it's Liz Jones who has written this column, she was previously a big ally of the Sussex squad, has turned a bit in recent months. It is interesting. So let's go through it, Tash. This is how the mainstream media works. It's like, okay, we want to cover the story, but at the same time, we've got to hedge our bets and we've got to talk about the other people who are covering the story as if they're terrible people. So Liz Jones writes, it has prompted suggestions that her decision to post that particular picture was not rooted in whimsy, but to quash the unfounded rumours that have swirled from the moment she announced she was pregnant with her elder child in 2018 that she is not a real mom. Yes, you read that correctly. Over the past 7 years, conspiracy theorists have claimed that she has never been pregnant and that she wore a moon bump, a prosthetic belly, to pretend that she was. Some have even gone so far as to claim she hired a surrogate to carry both Archie and Lilibet, or even that she has hired two tots to help sell jam and flour sprinkles. These ludicrous theories are of course utterly baseless, but instead of putting out the firestorm, Meghan's latest pregnancy shot has lit the blue touch paper. Self-proclaimed social media sleuths have claimed her bare bump is too shiny, far too high, transparent, and even suggested you can see the straps of a prosthetic belly. They claim that even the ultrasound picture doesn't wash, as there is no hospital name, reference number, date, or ID. So let's just tackle that to begin with, Tash, because if we look at the bump pictures, and I've annotated them a little bit because I haven't done it actually. One of my producers has done it because he's a bit of an expert in this stuff. And he said, you can see there that is the real line of her stomach where that white line is. And all of that area you see in the white there is connected to blur, which is because the image has been manipulated. Now, Tash, I'm sorry, I've been called a conspiracy theorist so many times over the past 5 years, right, since COVID, on a whole range of issues, and on virtually every single one of them, I've been proven to be correct. So I actually try not to use the term. I sometimes struggle, and I do, but I try not to use the term conspiracy theorist, because all I think a conspiracy theory means is you are digging down to reveal, to expose a cover-up that the mainstream media doesn't want to do. And if you look at some of the work that people like Lady Colin Campbell and Paula M have done, I mean, a lot of this is rooted in real facts.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I speak from a woman. It's awkward for me to sometimes talk about this subject because I have not given birth myself. So I haven't been pregnant, but I have had a lot of friends and family members. I was there for one of my bestest friends. I was actually her birthing partner. I have been as close to birth as I'm willing to go. So I have seen pregnancy across multiple friends and family members over the years in every single stage, and it just never made sense with Meghan. So I'm talking from an opinion based, but I've also spoken to people that are midwives as well, people that have looked into the labour stories as well as these photographs. Dan, this picture is quite significant as well, because this is the only one that I have ever seen of Meghan with a bare stomach. She's not wearing clothes covering it up. And that's why I think that she's deliberately done this to stir it up. It's also a very dark photograph, isn't it? It's almost like a shadow. It makes it easy to manipulate. And I honestly don't think that this is going to dispel any rumours whatsoever that she used a surrogate and that is a moon bump. But I'm torn whether this is Meghan deliberately stirring it up because she likes to stir things to get people to talk about it. But come on, this is Meghan that loves having her photograph taken. Do you not think if she honestly wouldn't have had her moments on the steps like Diana did, you know, she would have had pictures, photo shoots done like Demi Moore or even Beyonce when she was pregnant with the twins, covered in the flowers like they were the first women to ever experience pregnancy. And we didn't get any photos of Meghan being pregnant outside of, you know, obviously wearing clothes, apart from this brand new one, never seen before, the same as we're now beginning to hear the stories every podcast. She's got a new pregnancy story with every single episode. And of course, none of it adds up to the previous stories that we've heard from Harry or Meghan, or even when we date back to the mainstream media newspapers and people like yourself that were covering it in real time.
Well, yeah, because this is the thing, Tash, before any of the moon bump speculation reached me, my reportage on all of this when I was executive editor of The Sun, and I got Buckingham Palace to respond on the record, was all about, I'm sorry, why did you lie to the world about the birth? Why did you lie about the timing of the birth? Why did you lie about the location of where you were? It was dodgy. Something stank. And you don't lie in a case like that unless there's something to hide. That's just the reality. And what I would argue is I would say the mainstream media haven't really done their job properly on this over the last sort of few years. But look, let's go on with what Liz Jones had to say. She wrote, personally, I think a montage of photos collated by a grown woman is mawkish. But to think that Meghan and by extension Harry has embarked on an elaborate heist is ludicrous. There is no way such deceitful act, which ridicules our royal family as well as the British people, could be pulled off. We helped pay for their wedding in 2018. We waved them on at royal visits. I had sympathy for Meghan when she revealed she had experienced suicidal thoughts in that Oprah Winfrey interview in 2021. Meghan is a smart cookie. She knows what sells these days is authenticity, stories of personal misery. If she had been unable to conceive naturally and used a surrogate, we would have all been by her side. Now, Tash, that's where I have to cut in immediately, because that's where Liz Jones has got this one very, very wrong. Because absolutely not. If Meghan had admitted that, her children would not be in the line of succession. They might have an honorific title, but all she has ever wanted is for the kids to be in that line of succession so that her hopes of one day passing the British throne down through her line is not ruled out.
I don't know. There's a bit of me. I mean, I do completely agree with you, but I remember when the Queen changed a law back in 2013, and it was so if Princess Charlotte had been born first, that she would have been able to be Queen, rather than the old laws would have been if Prince George was second, he would have become king, because it's, you know, it's the patriarchy, it's passed down that way. And the law was changed. And there's a bit of me that thinks, Queen Elizabeth was a very modern woman. And yes, it is a very, very old law. People had to witness if you were a virgin before you were even allowed into a royal marriage. You know, there were countless people in the room, let alone obviously being, you know, giving birth to a child that's going to be in the bloodline, and being in the, you know, the royal succession. But I do wonder whether if Harry and Meghan had truly been honest, whether perhaps Queen Elizabeth would have thought about changing the laws to say, you know, that, you know, this is something that affects lots of couples. There are plenty of couples out there that sadly cannot conceive naturally. And I think in the modern world, perhaps something would have been changed. But it's the fact that I believe that Harry and Meghan have lied. In my personal opinion, I believe that they lied. And I believe that the royal family didn't join in on this big cover up. I think that they lied to the royal family. And by the time the royal family found out, it was too late, because what could they then do? Come out and say, well, actually, Harry and Meghan have lied. Could you imagine? Of course they wouldn't. And then they've had to go along with what I believe has been a bit of a lie.
Yeah, because Liz Jones then goes on to say she has been so open about her mental health and her miscarriage in 2020 that if she had had a problem with infertility, she would have put the issue front and centre. Only the most mean-spirited would have judged her. So yes, I agree, the bump is enormous. Meghan's ankles didn't puff up in pregnancy. But clearly, she's just lucky. Maybe her Pilates sessions helped her to crouch effortlessly. Oh my goodness, I just imagine telling Lady Colin Campbell about that one. Now, Liz Jones goes on. As readers of my columns will know, I have not always been Meghan's most gushing advocate, but we must remember that she is a human being. These pregnancy whispers are going too far. And here's the key line, Tash. That is why I fear Harry and Meghan must be compelled to release a statement. That's all it would take to put out the wildfires. Harry has stood up for his wife against the mainstream press, but the relentless hounding from these amateur sleuths is far worse. Snuff it out now. Well, firstly, can I just say, Harry and Meghan did absolutely nothing when it came to their amateur sleuths in the Sussex squad, completely running a whole load of lies about Catherine, the Princess of Wales, when she was suffering from cancer, including their big-time favourite, Christopher Boozy, saying that even the pictures of her at the farm shop, even the BBC video announcing the cancer was using a body double. So it's like, you know, for the suggestion to be that, oh, the amateur sleuths are only on one side is utterly ridiculous. And actually, why should we just leave this to the mainstream?
With Harry and Meghan constantly preaching about the truth and putting the truth out there, and misinformation and disinformation, this is a pretty huge story, really, isn't it? It's been, I believe it has been a big cover up. Now, either way, personally, as I said, you know, I think there's so many couples out there that do struggle with being able to conceive. And I think that the world would have rallied round them. They would have supported them. I think that Harry and Meghan could have done an absolute wonder for couples if they had been honest about it. But it's the deception, and it's how far it went. And it's just been everything to do with the children has been a continuous string of misinformation. And for a couple that say they want to protect their children, this is what I do not understand. They seem to court more controversy. There's more whispers about the children than what there ever were about Harry, with Diana, you know, and James Hewitt being his father. And Harry and Meghan have actively courted all of this, from the silly games that they play with hiding them and photoshopping them. And then obviously with the birth, especially Archie, with, you know, that she did give birth, and then she'd given birth, what was it, several hours before. She'd had 2 epidurals, and then she was home within 2 hours. And now we've learned that she'd suffered from dangerous, what was it, the eclampsia. And I'm sorry, no woman after 2 epidurals is just walking out of hospital a couple of hours later, sent on her merry way. I believe even one of the stories that Harry said the cord had got stuck around baby Archie's neck as he said, "Push, my love, push." I mean, no doctor or midwife in their right mind would see a scenario like that and allow a husband to say to the wife, "Push, my love." It's every single story that's come out from both of their mouths has just created more of, like you said, I don't agree with the conspiracy, but it's raised a lot more questions. And Liz Jones, she's a real flag in the wind. I'll be honest, I didn't read the article because I don't read a lot of Liz Jones articles, because I'm like, oh, here we go. It's another sugary, sweet Sussex Squad style. So that's actually quite shocking. But I do agree with you. It is a way that I think you are beginning to see people in the mainstream media saying, come on, if you've got nothing to hide, just be honest. Put a statement out there. But then even if they did put a statement out there, who's going to believe anything that comes out of their mouths these days?
Very true. Now, you mentioned a little bit earlier, Tash, about how Meghan is constantly finding ways at the moment to speak about her pregnancy. And she did so again this week. Listen.
One thing about, I will say for myself, like, especially when they're babies. And yes, the crying, before I was a mom, and I've always wanted to be a mom. Before I was a mom, I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to give a speech with a baby on my hip. I had a whole vision. I was like, I'm just going to, and then you fast forward, granted I had a lot of external things happening by the time I had both pregnancies and both babies, but it was not the way I envisioned it.
Both pregnancies, both babies. She's really hammering home the point, isn't she?
She is. And did you notice there was that millisecond of like, when I had both babies, that's what it was that I had. There's almost a pause there with that. But these stories coming out now with every podcast that she's doing. Harry and Meghan have had every opportunity to talk in interviews and previous podcasts and on Oprah and any other time that Harry and Meghan have done their cutesy stories. We've heard every single intimate detail, things that I wish that I could pour bleach in my ears for, about Harry peeing himself before he went on a date with Meghan, and just all sorts of gross things that they have definitely overshared. But when they were sharing every single detail with the world, we never heard any of the cute stories or the funny stories that come with pregnancy, right? I mean, as I said, a lot of my friends have had children, family members. There's funny stories, there's embarrassing stories. There's never been anything from Harry and Meghan. And I do not believe, oh, we were keeping those stories just for us. And now Meghan all of a sudden is now every podcast, oh, I had this, I had that. And it just, again, it just doesn't add up. Why have they never spoken about any of the stories, the cute stories that, you know, pregnancy does bring a lot of joy to the majority of women. Sometimes it can be very tough for some women, but they've never disclosed anything. This is a new thing. And this is only now happening because Meghan's latest skin that she shed, she's like a lizard person. She's onto this new personality. And that is that a mum is the only title in the world that she cares about. She's a mummy entrepreneur. And now all of a sudden everything is babies, children. And it's just, it doesn't seem natural from her at all.
Yeah, it's where the money is. That's why. Look, Tash, can we just take a look at Catherine, the Princess of Wales, today?
Oh, please, always.
The official naming ceremony of the HMS Glasgow. I think she smashed a whiskey bottle against the hull. And I'm also pretty certain this is the first time that she's done this. I think it's been pretty iconic in the past, for example, when Princess Diana named ships. So very wonderful that she was there for that. And of course, it tops off an exciting week for Catherine because she has been named alongside William in the Time 100 as one of the philanthropists of the year. Now, of course, this has been a massive blow for Prince Harry and Meghan, who hope to make the list. I mean, the fact that Meghan even attended the Time 100 summit and dragged her husband along shows how desperate she was. Now, you have posted on the fact today that we've heard about some small charity donation from Prince Harry. You've written, this is why we are hearing about Harry's latest charitable donation. Get ready to hear about a few more. And this was very odd, wasn't it? Because People magazine, which is like his latest favorite publicity shill outfit, wrote that Prince Harry, the go-to, exactly, shocked a UK charity with a major donation amid vow to continue charity work despite security loss. Now, I mean, what a spin that is. As if like, oh, because he's lost his security, that might mean he can't continue his charity work. I mean, come on, he's not paying for his own charity work. Plus, he's worth tens of millions of dollars. So the security loss has absolutely nothing to do with it. And more to the point, like, this donation, is it a really big deal? He's donated £10,000, I think it is, Tash. I mean, when you compare that to the absolute incredible article that Time has written about Catherine and William's efforts, £10,000 is small fry.
I haven't read the article in full myself, but it did make a reference in there of the Duchess of Sussex gave 10,000 back in 2020 towards the very same organisation. And I thought, this is Meghan that's probably run out quickly and got this out in People magazine rather than it being Harry. I don't think it did say, I might be wrong, you can correct me if it did say that Harry has done another 10,000, but it's just the fact that donate, go do it. If you want to put good into the world and do it, but why do a press release with everything? I'll tell you why. They have done that as a quick return. They saw, Catherine and William have been named as philanthropists. Quick, we better put a post out there. It's no different to anything else. Catherine gets a rose named after her. Meghan is seen carrying a rose the next day or chopping up roses. It's this constant game. Whatever story seems to come out about Prince William or Catherine, then give it 24 hours, sometimes less. I say that since Meghan's been on Instagram, it seems to be like you can count down within the hours. There is going to be another story that comes out. Like, again, we saw recently, Catherine was trending wearing that beautiful Victoria Beckham suit. Then bang, a few hours later, Meghan and Harry were having dinner with Brooklyn and Nicola Beckham. And it's just so pathetic and obvious at this point, Dan. You can literally synchronize your watches to it. I'm sure Meghan will find a small dinghy that she can smash a bottle of champagne up against tomorrow at the Montecito Yacht Club.
Yes, indeed. She'll be absolutely furious, won't she? And oh my goodness, I've got to show you one other William moment, which came from this absolutely... I'm
always happy for those, Dan.
Yeah, well, it was this absolutely little delightful moment at the garden party this week with a young disabled boy. Watch this.
He looks better on you than me.
Let's have a look, Tony. Show a quick picture, Tony.
Little big baskets.
Yeah.
He's not too bad. I can see that you're You're not? Yes. I don't know why we couldn't find you. When I said, look, go to the tea tech, it's probably where you're going to be.
Just so lovely, wasn't it, Tash? And I think there's a lot of truth spoken in jest when he said, it looks much better on you than me. Oh, he means that, Tash. He doesn't like the top hat. He doesn't like the formality of these types of events, does he? But they looked superb.
No, he was that little boy, Tony Hudgell. I mean, I love that little boy. I think he's an incredible hero, everything he's done. And he has been through so much in his young life, and he's raised millions for charities. And I see that he is going to do good things. He was the youngest ever person to get the British Empire medal. So he's such a courageous little boy. And I love the fact that Catherine and William have built up a little relationship with him. But yes, Prince William, you can tell he doesn't like a lot of the pomp. And it does make me wonder sometimes what it's going to be like. And I don't wish for the day because I love King Charles. But when he does become king, I don't know whether he's going to handle too well having that full ceremony. Now, I hope he does, because I want the pomp, I want the pageantry, I want all of it. I want Catherine and William, I want the full parade. But you can tell sometimes with William, you can see his jaw because he's got such a very defined jaw. You can see
A new Daily Mail opinion column by Liz Jones has reignited discussion about long-running online speculation over Meghan Markle's pregnancies, prompting fresh debate among royal commentators about media coverage, public transparency, and why these rumors continue to circulate years later. Today, we're examining what the Daily Mail article actually says, exploring the opinions shared by the presenters and guest according to Taz, and separating reported facts from commentary and speculation. Let's get started. Few stories involving Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have generated as much online debate as questions surrounding their family life. While most mainstream media outlets have generally dismissed speculation about Meghan's pregnancies as unfounded, a recent Daily Mail opinion column has brought the subject back into public discussion. The presenters argue that this marks a significant moment because a major publication is openly acknowledging rumors that have circulated online for years. However, it's important to remember that the allegations discussed remain disputed, and much of today's conversation consists of personal opinion rather than independently verified evidence. Let's break down the discussion segment by segment. The discussion begins with the publication of a Daily Mail opinion column written by Liz Jones. According to the presenters, the article represents a notable shift because it addresses long-running online speculation about Meghan Markle's pregnancies that many believe mainstream media had previously avoided discussing. The hosts argue that while the article ultimately rejects many of the conspiracy claims, simply acknowledging their existence has brought renewed attention to the topic. Whether readers view the article as an effort to debunk rumors or simply examine why they persist is likely to depend on individual interpretation. Segment 2. Meghan's recent photograph sparks discussion. Attention then turns to a recently shared photograph of Meghan Markle during pregnancy. The presenters suggest the image has generated renewed online analysis, with some social media users questioning various aspects of the photograph. According to the discussion, these reactions have fueled another round of speculation across online platforms. However, it's important to emphasize that observations about the image presented in the program are speculative and do not constitute proof of any allegation. Different viewers may reach different conclusions about the photograph. The discussion then focuses on rumors that have circulated online for several years. The presenters reference claims that Meghan may have worn a prosthetic pregnancy bump or used a surrogate during one or both pregnancies. These allegations have appeared across various online forums and social media platforms but have never been substantiated by verified evidence. The Daily Mail column itself reportedly describes these theories as baseless while examining why they continue to attract public attention. As a result, viewers should distinguish between internet speculation and confirmed reporting. Another major topic centers on whether Harry and Meghan should publicly address the speculation. The presenters argue that additional clarification or documentation could help answer lingering public questions. They suggest that years of speculation have continued partly because the couple has chosen not to engage directly with many of the claims. Others, however, may argue that public figures are entitled to maintain privacy regarding personal medical matters. The discussion highlights the ongoing tension between public curiosity and individual privacy. The presenters also revisit events surrounding the birth of Prince Archie. They discuss the couple's decision to keep certain details private, including the timing of public announcements and their departure from several traditional royal practices. According to the presenters, those decisions contributed to growing public speculation at the time. However, choosing a more private approach does not by itself establish the truth of any later allegations. Many of the conclusions drawn during this segment reflect opinion rather than confirmed fact. Stepping back from the individual claims, the conversation raises broader questions about celebrity, privacy, and public accountability. How much transparency should public figures provide about deeply personal aspects of their lives? At what point does legitimate public interest become intrusive speculation? And what role should the media play when long-running rumors continue to circulate despite limited verified evidence? These questions remain at the center of the ongoing debate. As this latest discussion demonstrates, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle continue to generate intense public interest years after leaving royal duties. A recent Daily Mail opinion column has renewed conversation about long-standing online speculation, media coverage, and the balance between public curiosity and personal privacy. While many of the strongest claims discussed today come from commentators and internet speculation rather than verified evidence, the debate itself shows no sign of disappearing anytime soon. What do you think? Do you believe the media should continue addressing these long-running rumors, or is it time to move the conversation in a different direction? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. If you enjoyed this balanced breakdown of the latest royal news and commentary, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest royal updates and analysis. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.